My name is Emily Parker. I'm 29 years old, and the night I called 911 on my own parents, I was standing barefoot in my driveway, clutching an empty key ring and shaking so hard my teeth clicked. Red and blue lights splashed across the front of our small, two-story family home like it was part of some crime show. Neighbors peeked through blinds. Someone across the street actually stepped out on their porch with a phone, recording. The December air bit into my skin, but all I could feel was this burning heat in my chest, like my heart had finally had enough. The officer standing in front of me adjusted his notepad. "Ma'am, I just need you to walk me through it again," he said calmly. "You're saying your parents took your vehicle without your permission." I swallowed, my throat dry. "Yes," I said, voice cracking. "My parents stole my car, my brand new car. They took it and gave it to my sister." Even saying it out loud felt unreal, like I was making up a story. Like any second my mom would burst out laughing and say, "Relax, Emmy, it's just a prank. Chill out." But they weren't laughing, because they weren't even home. The driveway was empty. No shiny silver SUV, no apology, no explanation. Just oil stains where my car used to be and a tight, painful hole sitting right under my ribs. I could still see the scene, like a live replay in my head. 2 hours earlier, I'd walked out of the bank with my bag slung over my shoulder, feeling something close to happiness for the first time in a long time. I'd worked double shifts at the hospital for years, overnights, weekends, holidays, taking extra patients no one wanted, picking up charts when my feet already felt like bricks. All of it for this one goal: buy my own car in my own name with my own money. I'd been taking buses since college, ride-sharing to shifts, walking in the rain because my mom needed her car for my sister Ashley's errands. I always told myself, just wait, Emily. One day it'll be your turn. Today was supposed to be that day. I remembered stepping into the dealership earlier that week. How weird it felt to sit in the driver's seat of something that didn't smell like someone else's life. The salesman had smiled at me. "You worked hard for this, huh?" he said. "You have no idea," I'd replied, laughing nervously. The down payment had wiped out most of my savings, and the monthly payment would be tight, but when I drove that SUV off the lot, I'd felt like I was finally catching up to everyone else. I wasn't trying to be rich. I just wanted something that was mine. My emotional goal was simple: to stop feeling like a guest in my own life and finally own something I could point to and say, "Nobody can take this from me." I should have known better. When I pulled up to my parents' place with the car for the first time, my dad whistled from the porch. "Wow, Emmy," he said, coming down the steps, eyes wide. "You bought this." "All on my own," I said, my heart swelling. "Do you like it?" He walked around the SUV, fingers brushing the paint like it was some sacred object. My mom stood by the door behind him, arms crossed, tight smile on her face. "You didn't tell us you were getting a car," she said. "I wanted to surprise you," I replied. "I signed the papers today, it's in my name." The moment I said my name, something shifted in her eyes. It was subtle, but I caught it. That sharp flicker of irritation I'd seen my whole life whenever I did something that wasn't about my sister. Ashley, of course, came out last. Her heels clicked down the front steps like a soundtrack to my anxiety. My younger sister was 26, pretty, and always looked like she was heading to a brunch she'd never pay for. She glanced at the car, flipped her blonde highlighted hair, and smirked. "So this is what you've been hoarding money for," she said. "It's nice, I guess. A bit much for you, don't you think?" I laughed, but it came out thin. "What's that supposed to mean?" Ashley shrugged. "You're always at work. When do you even drive? You could have helped Mom and Dad with the house or my student loans instead of flexing with a car." My dad shot her a look. "Ashley." "No, she's right," my mom cut in, like she'd been waiting for her cue. "You know your sister's been struggling since the salon laid her off. You didn't think to maybe help family before buying something this extravagant." Extravagant? It wasn't a sports car. It was a mid-range SUV with good mileage and safety features. I'd picked it because I wanted something reliable. Something that would get me to my night shifts and back without breaking down on some dark street. I have been helping, I said quietly. I've paid bills here. I've covered Ashley's phone more than once. I just wanted something for myself this time. My mom's lips pressed into a thin line. We're not saying you can't have things. We're just saying maybe you should have thought about everyone else first. That's what family does. What family does. In that moment, I told myself to brush it off. I'd been dealing with this dynamic my whole life. Ashley, the fragile one, the favorite, the one who always needed just a little more help. Me, the responsible one, the strong one, the one who understood. But that night, the storm finally snapped the tree. Fast forward to the evening. I'd left my parents' house to drop off some groceries at my apartment, then came back to spend dinner with them. My mom had called. "Just stay the night," she said. "Your old room is still here. Don't waste gas driving back and forth." It sounded kind, normal. I wanted to believe her, so I stayed. We had dinner. Ashley scrolled on her phone most of the time, complaining about some guy who stopped texting her. My dad flipped channels. My mom asked about work but didn't really listen to my answers. Later, my dad yawned and went to bed. My mom collected dishes. I showered and changed into an old t-shirt, feeling that bone-deep kind of tired you get after running on fumes for too long. The last thing I remembered before sleeping was glancing through the bedroom window and seeing my SUV in the driveway, streetlight bouncing off the hood. It made me smile. I woke up to silence. Not the normal morning noise, no coffee pot, no TV, no footsteps. The house felt empty. Wrong. I checked my phone. 9:17 a.m. My night shift body wasn't used to these hours. I pulled on jeans and a hoodie, grabbed my bag, and headed downstairs. "Mom," I called. "Dad." No answer. My heart started to tick a little faster, but I brushed it off. Maybe they'd gone to the store. I swung open the front door, already thinking about grabbing a latte on my way home. The driveway was empty. At first, my brain tried to fill in a reasonable explanation. Maybe I parked on the street. Maybe I forgot. I stepped out farther, looking up and down the block. No silver SUV, no car that even looked like it could be mine. The air felt thinner. I walked to the middle of the driveway, like distance would change reality. "Okay," I whispered. "This is a joke. It has to be a joke." I pulled out my phone and called my dad. It rang twice, then went to voicemail. I called my mom, same thing. I texted the family group chat. "Me. Hey, where's my car? Did you guys move it?" No response. Minutes ticked by, my stomach twisted. I dialed again, fingers trembling. Voicemail, voicemail, voicemail. I stood there, staring at the empty concrete, when my phone finally buzzed. It was a text from my mom. "We took the car to help Ashley. She needs it more than you right now. Don't be dramatic about this, Emily. You can always get another one. Family comes first." My vision blurred. I read the message once, twice, a third time. They took my car, not asked to borrow it, not requested a ride. They took it for Ashley. Then another text came in, this time from Ashley herself. "Relax, Em. It's not that deep. I have a job interview across town and I can't keep Ubering everywhere. You'll be fine. You're always fine." Something snapped inside me. Always fine. Always understanding. Always the one who gets less because you're stronger, Emily. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. I could see it all so clearly. My parents handing her my keys, maybe even smiling, telling themselves they were doing what's best for the family. They didn't even ask me. Heat climbed into my face, hot and sharp. My chest rose and fell too fast. Years of being second place, of swallowing hurt, of telling myself it's okay, it's okay, it's okay boiled over at once. For the first time in my life, a new voice cut through the noise in my head. What if it's not okay? What if this is theft, not sacrifice? What if this is the line? My thumb hovered over my mom's name, then dropped down to something I never thought I would touch because of my family. My heart hammered as I pressed the numbers. "Emergency services, what's your emergency?" A calm voice answered. I took a deep breath, tears spilling over now, not weak tears, but angry, exhausted ones. "My name is Emily Parker," I said, my voice breaking but steadying with each word. "My parents stole my brand new car and gave it to my sister. The title is in my name. I want to report it. I want to file charges." Saying those words felt like stepping off a cliff. Now, standing in the driveway with the officer's pen scratching over his notepad and the neighbors watching, I wondered if I'd just set fire to my entire family. "Okay, Emily," the officer said gently. "We'll need to contact them and confirm some details. Are you prepared for what might happen next? Because if we proceed, this becomes a legal matter. It might mean your parents and your sister could actually get arrested." He looked at me, waiting. My phone buzzed again in my hand. Another text from my mom, this time just 6 chilling words that made my blood run cold. "If you do this, you're dead to us." I stared at the message, heart pounding so loudly I could hear it in my ears. The officer cleared his throat. "Ma'am, do you still want to move forward?" he asked. I lifted my eyes from the screen, my fingers tightening around the phone until my knuckles turned white, and I opened my mouth to answer, only for a familiar car to turn the corner at full speed, swerving into view. It was my SUV. And sitting behind the wheel was Ashley. She slammed on the brakes at the end of the driveway, nearly hitting the patrol car, her face drained of color when she saw the flashing lights, and me, and the officer, and the crowd. She stepped out slowly, keys in hand, eyes wide. "Emily," she whispered, voice shaking, What did you do?" And in that frozen second, with everyone watching and my sister standing there like I was the problem, I realized something that made my stomach drop. I might be about to find out exactly how far my own family was willing to go to protect each other, even if it meant destroying me. For a second, everything went quiet. The officer beside me stopped writing. The neighbors froze on their porches. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath as my sister climbed out of my SUV like she hadn't just stolen a chunk of my soul with it. Ashley stood there in ripped jeans, a cropped sweater, and my sunglasses on top of her head like she owned the sun. Her brown hair, streaked with fresh blonde highlights, was pulled into a messy bun. She clutched my keys so tight they dug into her knuckles. "Emily," she said again, voice breaking, "why are the police here?" I stared at her, the question so ridiculous it almost made me laugh. "Because," I said slowly, "my car was stolen." Her eyes flicked to the officer, then back to me. "Stolen? Seriously? You called the cops on me?" The officer stepped forward. "Ma'am, are you Ashley Parker?" She nodded weakly. "Yeah." "I'm Officer Daniels. Your sister reported this vehicle stolen. We need to ask you a few questions." Ashley let out a little nervous laugh, like she thought she could charm her way out of the whole thing. "This is just a misunderstanding. My parents said I could use the car. It's a family car." That word again. Family. They always used it like a magic spell to erase my feelings. "It's my car," I snapped. "It's in my name, Ashley. You didn't even ask me. You just took it." Ashley rolled her eyes, but I saw the fear there too. "You're being dramatic. Mom said you overreact, but this is insane. We're family. You don't call 911 on your own family." I felt my throat tighten, a wave of hurt crashing over the anger. "Then maybe," I said quietly, "family shouldn't steal from me." The officer cleared his throat. "Okay, let's keep this calm. Ashley, did you have permission from your sister, the registered owner, to take the vehicle?" Ashley hesitated. That split second of silence said more than any words could. "I had permission from my parents," she said finally. "They said it was fine. The car is basically the family's anyway. Emily still lives off them half the time. They've helped her with everything." That one stung more than I wanted it to. I flashed back, just for a moment, to another family moment. I was 12, standing in the kitchen holding a report card with straight A's, waiting for my parents to look up. They were sitting at the table, heads close together over a paper. "Mom, Dad," I said, smiling. "Look." My mom glanced at the paper, then went back to the bills. That's good, honey, she said. But can you take your brother to his practice later? We're trying to figure this money thing out. Ashley, 10 at the time, had come running in with a flyer. Mom, Dad, the dance camp, remember, it's due today. My dad stood up right away. We'll make it work, he'd told her, rubbing her shoulders. We'll figure something out. I remembered standing there, report card still in my hand, realizing that no matter how hard I worked, I would always be the one who understood when they didn't have enough. Ashley was the one they made enough for. Now here we were, years later, same story, different price tag. Officer Daniels looked between us. Ma'am, he said to Ashley, your parents can't give you permission to take a car they don't own. On paper, it belongs to Emily. If she's choosing to file charges, this is considered unauthorized use at best, and possibly theft. Ashley's face paled. You're joking. You're actually taking her side. I let out a bitter laugh. For once, someone is. She glared at me, eyes blazing. You really want to see me arrested? Your own sister, over a car. You mean the thing I've worked years for? I shot back. The thing I lost sleep, holidays, and my social life for. The thing you decided you needed more after one text. Her jaw clenched, and suddenly her anger cracked open into something uglier. She pointed at me, her voice rising. You think you're better than me because you went to school and got a real job, she spat. You like rubbing it in our faces that you have money now. You think this car makes you more important. Guess what, Emily? Mom and Dad said you owe them. They paid for your college, remember? They said this car is just you finally paying them back. My stomach dropped. Wait, I said slowly. They told you that. She lifted her chin. Yeah, they said you were being selfish and they weren't going to let you flaunt your success while we're struggling. They said if I used the car, it was basically just them reclaiming what you owed. The world tilted for a second, and everything went blurry at the edges. My parents had always used the phrase, we sacrificed so much for you. I'd believed them, but I hadn't known they were using those sacrifices like a receipt, like a bill, like leverage to justify stealing from me. The officer scribbled something in his notebook. We're going to need to speak with your parents, he said. Are they home? No, Ashley muttered. They took the other car to visit Aunt Claire. They'll be back this afternoon. Of course, gone when things got ugly. Okay, Officer Daniels said. Here, what's going to happen? We'll document this as a potential theft. We'll take statements, and then Emily will decide if she wants to move forward with formal charges. Ashley, we're going to need your ID. Ashley fumbled in her purse with shaking hands. This is insane, she whispered. You're really doing this, Em. I swallowed hard. The little girl inside me, the one who used to stand outside my parents' bedroom door, listening to them praise Ashley's talent, Ashley's beauty, Ashley's potential, was screaming. Stop, don't do it. They'll hate you forever. But another part of me, the woman who'd worked double shifts while everyone else slept, stood up straighter. I'm not doing this to hurt you, I said quietly. I'm doing this because I'm tired of being treated like my boundaries don't matter. This car is mine. You didn't ask. You didn't even think you needed to. Ashley thrust her ID at the officer, eyes brimming with tears. You're such a martyr, she muttered. Always playing the victim. Mom was right about you. What did she say? I asked before I could stop myself. Ashley smirked, and the look on her face made my skin crawl. She said you might finally show your true colors, that when you got money, you'd turn on us, that you love things more than your own family. It landed like a slap. That's what they were telling her. That I, the one who stayed, helped, paid bills, loved them, was the selfish traitor. Not them. Not the ones who emptied my driveway and justified it. My chest ached, but I forced myself to look at the officer. What happens next? Next, he said carefully, we contact your parents and ask for their side. If they admit they gave your sister the car without your permission, that backs up your report. We'll file it and send it to the district attorney. They'll decide whether to press charges. Ashley gasped. You can't be serious. Mom will lose it. She'll never forgive you, Emily. She'll tell everyone what you did. Grandma, our cousins, everyone is going to know you tried to put us in jail over a car." It hurt because I knew she was right. My mom was a professional storyteller when it came to making herself the victim. She would cry and twist it until I was the cold, ungrateful daughter who betrayed her own flesh and blood. But something else hit me even harder. They were already willing to sacrifice me. They already had. "Officer," I said, my voice steadier now, "I want to proceed. I want to give a full statement." Ashley stared like I'd stabbed her. "You're choosing a car over your own family." "No," I said softly. "I'm choosing myself for once." He nodded. "Okay, we'll head to the station. Ashley, you can follow us there with the vehicle or we can have it towed." Ashley opened her mouth to argue, but before she could, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a call. "Mom." My hand trembled as I answered on speaker. "Emily," she snapped, not even saying hello. "What on earth do you think you're doing? Ashley just called me crying. Police. Are you insane?" "Mom," I said, my voice shaking now, "you took my car without asking. You gave it to her, that's theft." There was a pause, then a cold laugh. "Theft? That car only exists because of us. Who watched you while you studied? Who fed you? Who kept a roof over your head? You owe us everything, and if we decide the car is better used helping your sister get back on her feet, that's what's happening." The officer's eyes met mine. He heard every word. "So," he said slowly, "to be clear, Mrs. Parker, you knowingly took your daughter's vehicle and gave it to your other daughter without the owner's permission." On the other end of the line, my mom froze. Then her voice changed, smooth, fake sweet. "I don't know what Emily told you," she said. "We were just borrowing it. She's being overdramatic. She said she was fine with helping her sister. She's twisting this because she's angry." My mouth fell open. "That's not true," I shouted. "I never said." "Emily," my mom cut in sharply, "if you push this, don't you dare step foot in this house again. You will not be part of this family. Do you hear me?" My heart hammered so loud, I thought I might pass out. Officer Daniels stepped closer, his voice calm but firm as he addressed the phone. "Mrs. Parker, I have enough information to continue this as a criminal matter. Any further comments could be used as evidence. I suggest you speak with a lawyer." My mom hissed, "You're really going to do this, Emily?" Then the line went dead. I lowered the phone slowly, my hand numb, my entire body feeling hollow and heavy at the same time. The officer touched my arm gently. "Emily, are you sure you still want to move forward?" I looked at my sister, who couldn't even meet my eyes. I thought about years of being the backup plan, the emotional punching bag, the unpaid babysitter, the walking wallet. I thought about that text, "You're dead to us." Maybe I already was. "Yes," I whispered, "I'm sure." We started walking toward the patrol car. I could feel every gaze on me, every whispered judgment from neighbors who'd only ever seen the Parker family smiling on holidays. But just as I reached for the door handle, my phone buzzed again, this time with a notification from my banking app. My breath caught when I read it. "Alert, new transaction, auto loan account," cosigner added. "Michael and Linda Parker." My parents. I stared at the screen in shock. They had somehow added themselves to my auto loan as cosigners, which meant this wasn't just about a stolen car. It meant they had more control over my life and my debt than I ever realized. And suddenly, I had to wonder, what else had they done behind my back that I hadn't discovered yet? I felt the world tilt beneath my feet. The notification on my phone glowed like a warning flare in the dark. Cosigner added, Michael and Linda Parker. My parents had somehow put their names on my auto loan. My brand new SUV, the one I bought alone, the one I sweated, saved, and sacrificed for, the one they had just stolen. My throat tightened. "Officer, they added themselves to my loan. How is that even possible?" Officer Daniels leaned slightly to look at my screen, his brow furrowing. "That shouldn't be possible unless your parents had access to your documents." A cold wave of realization crept up my spine. My mom, my dad. They had access to everything. My mail, my old files in my childhood room, even my social security number. They insisted on keeping my important papers safe since college. I'd been too trusting, too naive, too grateful for help. Ashley crossed her arms. They co-signed because they helped you with college. They said you owed them. Why are you acting surprised? The officer turned to her sharply. Ma'am, fraud is a serious matter. If they used her personal information without her consent. I didn't say fraud, Ashley snapped, suddenly defensive. I said they helped her. Mom told me they deserved to have their names on the car since they invested in her future. My stomach curled. Invested. Like I was a stock they bought shares in. I could barely breathe. The officer rested a hand on the car door. Emily, let's get you to the station. You can file a separate report for identity misuse. We'll check whether this was a clerical error or something more deliberate, but either way, you have rights. Ashley scoffed. Rights? She's our sister. She's turning this into a whole crime scene. Something inside me cracked, and my voice shook with a rawness I couldn't hide anymore. You took my car, I said, my throat tight. You mocked me for buying it. You told me I owed you, and now you're upset that I'm protecting myself. You're acting like you're the victim, Ashley began. Because I am, I finally shouted, louder than I intended. For years, I've been the one who sacrifices, who gives, who doesn't complain, who understands. I've paid bills, I've loaned money, I've helped with the house. I covered your phone. I took you to your interviews. I stayed silent when Mom breathed down my neck and Dad handed you everything. My voice wavered. But you think one expensive purchase means I've become selfish. You think success means you can take whatever you want because family comes first. Ashley's face twisted. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself. No, I whispered. For the first time in my life, I'm defending myself. The officer gently guided me toward the back seat of the patrol car. You don't have to say anything else right now, Emily. We'll sort this out. Just as I was about to step in, Ashley suddenly rushed forward. Wait, she cried, grabbing my arm. I froze. Her eyes were completely different now, not arrogant, not irritated, but panicked, terrified. Please, she whispered, don't go through with this. You don't know what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing, I replied. No, you don't, she said, voice trembling. Mom told me something, and if you keep pushing this, everything is going to fall apart. My breath hitched. What are you talking about? Ashley looked around at the neighbors, at the officer, at the flashing lights. She leaned closer, her voice barely audible. Mom said if this blows up, they're going to say you're unstable, that you're acting out, that you've always had issues. My jaw dropped. What? She said people would believe her, Ashley whispered. She said she'd tell everyone you're jealous, that you're mentally unwell, that you're dangerous, that you've been unpredictable for years. My heart slammed against my ribs. That was the moment I realized something horrible. My family wasn't just willing to take my car. They were willing to take my reputation, my sanity, my name, my truth. Ashley stepped back, wringing her hands. Please, Emily, just drop this before Mom spins it into something you can't fix. Officer Daniels noticed my frozen expression. Is everything okay? I swallowed hard. No, I whispered, but it will be. Ashley's eyes widened. Emily. I climbed into the patrol car. I'm doing this. The door closed behind me with a solid thump. It felt like the end of a chapter I never wanted to write. Ashley pounded on the window once, tears streaking down her cheeks. Mom's going to ruin you, she cried. Please don't do this. The officer got into the front seat and radioed dispatch. Unit 14, transporting complainant to station for formal report. As the car began to roll forward, I watched my sister shrink in the rear window, arms wrapped around herself, shoulders shaking, still clutching my keys. Officer Daniels glanced at me through the rearview mirror. You're doing something hard, he said quietly. Sometimes standing up for yourself looks like betrayal to people who benefit from your silence. I looked down at my trembling hands. He was right. But that didn't make the next moment any easier. My phone buzzed again. Another notification. I forced myself to look. New voicemail from Mom 1 minute, 42 seconds. My hand shook as I played it. Her voice crackled through the speaker, venomous and cold. Emily, listen carefully. If you file anything, if you say one word to the police, if you embarrass this family another second, you will regret it. Do you hear me? We will not let you destroy us. Your sister needed help. You should have offered. You should have been grateful for everything we've done for you. Instead, you're acting selfish and unstable. If you continue with this, don't bother calling us again. You're on your own, and we'll make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. The message ended. The silence afterward was suffocating. My vision blurred as tears finally spilled over. I wasn't crying because they hated me. I wasn't crying because they betrayed me. I wasn't even crying because they'd stolen from me. I was crying because I didn't recognize them anymore. And maybe they never recognized me. Minutes later, as we pulled into the police station parking lot, my phone buzzed again, this time with a message that made my entire body go cold. A screenshot, sent from a number I didn't recognize. But I knew the picture. It was an old medical form, something from college, where I'd written that I'd struggled with anxiety after a roommate accident. The caption underneath read, "This should be enough to prove she's unstable, right?" My blood ran cold. Someone was trying to build a case against me. Someone in my family was already gathering evidence. And I realized, with a crushing heaviness in my chest, this wasn't just about my car anymore. This was about destroying me before I could expose them. And suddenly, I knew the worst betrayal hadn't even happened yet. Have you ever faced a situation where family twisted things against you, or used your vulnerability against you? What would you have done if you were Emily? Comment your thoughts below and tell us where you're watching from. I sat in the small interview room at the police station, staring at the screenshot on my phone. My chest felt tight, like someone was squeezing the air out of my lungs. That medical form from years ago had been buried in an old folder in my childhood room. I hadn't seen it in ages. Someone had gone through my things. Someone had taken it on purpose. Someone had sent it to a stranger with the intention of using it against me. My hands trembled as Officer Daniels stepped inside with a soft knock. "You ready?" he asked gently. No, I wasn't ready. But I nodded anyway, because life doesn't stop to give you time to prepare. He sat across from me, opened his folder, and clicked his pen. "Let's start with the stolen vehicle," he said. "Walk me through everything from last night." So I did. I told him about buying the car, about the weird tension when my family saw it, about my mom calling me to stay the night, about waking up to find the SUV gone. The texts, Ashley returning the car, my parents threatening me, and finally, the screenshot. When I finished, he leaned back, face serious. "Emily, this is more than just a stolen vehicle. There are multiple issues here. Potential fraud, coercion, emotional intimidation, possible identity misuse." Hearing it listed out loud made my stomach twist. "My parents," I said, staring down at my hands. "They're not criminals, they always treat Ashley like she's fragile, and me like I can handle everything. But this is different. This is abusive," the officer finished quietly. The word hit me like a slap. I blinked at him. I never thought of it that way. He nodded gently. "Sometimes abuse hides under words like family duty, sacrifice, and tradition. Doesn't make it less harmful." A tear slipped down my cheek and I wiped it away quickly. "I just want my life back, my car, my peace, something that's mine." He slid a form toward me. "Then let's start." I filled out the stolen vehicle report. Then the identity misuse report. Then I gave permission for them to pull the loan records. By the end, my hand ached and my throat felt raw. Just as I signed the last page, Officer Daniels' radio crackled. "Dispatch to Unit 14. Parents are requesting to speak with the complainant. They are in the lobby. My blood froze. They were here. Officer Daniels looked up. We don't have to let them talk to you if you're not comfortable. I swallowed hard. Can I see them, just to hear what they have to say? He hesitated, then nodded. I'll stay with you. We walked out into the hallway and toward the lobby. With each step, my pulse pounded louder. As soon as I rounded the corner, my mom stood up so fast her purse fell off her lap. There you are, she snapped, storming toward me. What have you done? My dad stood behind her, arms crossed, jaw clenched. His silence was somehow worse than her yelling. I flinched as she got close, but Officer Daniels stepped between us. Ma'am, please keep your distance. She shot him a glare before turning her fury back to me. You really filed reports on us, over a car, over a misunderstanding. You've embarrassed this entire family. It wasn't a misunderstanding, I said quietly. You took my car. My dad finally spoke, his voice cold. We borrowed something we helped pay for. I paid for the car, I snapped. I worked for it. Using an education we paid for, he replied. Without us, you wouldn't even have that job. You owe us more respect. I stared at him, disbelief washing over me. So that makes my property yours. My mom pointed a shaking finger at me. You've twisted everything. We raised you. We sacrificed for you. We helped you through school. We gave you everything. And you expect me to repay you forever, I whispered. At what point am I allowed to own something for myself? This time, neither of them answered. My mom's eyes suddenly filled with tears, angry tears, manipulative tears, the kind she used whenever she wanted to flip the script. After everything we've done, she choked, you call the police on us. Do you know what this will do to our reputation, to your sister's life, to ours? I felt my heart break a little. It was already broken, I whispered. When you took my car, when you told Ashley I owed you, when you tried to paint me as unstable. My mom's eyes widened in fake innocence. What are you talking about? I held up my phone with the screenshot. This. She froze. My dad stiffened. I continued, voice shaking. You were going to use this against me. You were going to call me mentally unstable. You were going to smear me to protect yourselves. My mom's lips parted. Emily, honey, that's just... Officer Daniels stepped forward. Ma'am, anything you say can be documented. I advise you to be honest. My mom snapped. It was to get her to stop. She was being unreasonable. We had to do something. The room went silent. Dad rubbed his forehead. We were only doing what was best for the family. You can't turn your back on blood. I shook my head slowly. You turned your back on me first. For the first time, my father's face faltered. My mother's shoulders slumped. They still weren't sorry. Not really, but they were finally shaken. Officer Daniels cleared his throat. Emily, we have enough for the district attorney to review. You can choose to proceed or withdraw. My parents looked at me with mixed expressions. Fear, anger, desperation. Don't do this, my mom begged. Please, you'll regret it. My chest tightened. My heart screamed. But my soul finally spoke louder. I'm done regretting things, I said softly. I'm done being afraid. I'm done letting you control my life. My dad stepped forward. If you walk out that door and file those charges, you're no daughter of mine. Something inside me broke. And healed at the same time. I'm sorry you feel that way, I said, wiping my face. But I'm still walking. I turned away from them, each step heavier than the last, but also lighter. Freer. Officer Daniels walked beside me for support. Behind me, I heard my mother sob. And my father mutter something about being ashamed. For once, I didn't turn back. Not to apologize. Not to fix it. Not to shrink. Outside, the cold air hit my face and I inhaled deeply. The world felt wide again. Possible. Mine. In the parking lot sat my SUV, returned by police order. The keys jingled in my hand, metal, solid, real. A symbol of my first act of true independence. As I opened the driver's door, My phone buzzed with a long message from my grandmother. "Honey, come stay with me for a while. I heard everything. I'm proud of you. Some families break you to keep control, but you broke the cycle today." My throat tightened. I climbed into the car, shut the door, and let myself finally cry. Not from fear this time, but from release. My family wasn't gone. Just the version of them I kept pretending was real. Now it was time to build something new. A life with boundaries. A life with dignity. A life that belonged to me. And as I started the engine, the soft hum filling the silence, I whispered to myself, "I deserve better, and I'm choosing myself." For the first time, I actually believed it. Have you ever had to choose yourself over toxic family? What would you have done if you were in Emily's shoes? Share your story in the comments and tell us where you're watching from.